Hello everyone, welcome to our product update webinar. This is the first time we do a webinar with a webcam, so I hope everything works today. And thank you for attending. I will first briefly introduce ourselves. Well, I'm Esther de Winter, this is Tom Kniepenberg. We are both product managers at TOPdesk. Someone who you're not seeing, but who you might be talking to is Stefan van Opstal. He's also a product manager at TOPdesk, and he will be guarding the chat today. So if you have any questions or remarks, please send it towards him on the chat, and hopefully he can answer your questions. If he doesn't have time to answer your questions, we will try and answer them after the webinar. Well, the agenda for today. Today we are going to show you, basically we're going to tell you about what we have been releasing, what we have been doing, and what's coming up. Before we do that, I will first briefly explain the TOPdesk vision to you, and then we'll actually demo some features that we've released. We're not going to demo everything because that would be a bit too much. So we selected some of the highlights of the last quarter and the upcoming quarter. We're also going to present to you an overview of what's coming up next, and we will share with you how you can find more information about these features and about everything we are developing in general. Don't worry, we're going to give a lot of information to you, but you don't have to remember everything. Everything is recorded, so you will get an email with the recording afterwards. And we have also created a blog post that we will email to you with more information about all these features and links to where you can find more specific information. So you should receive that email tomorrow. Well, to start, I want to talk to you about the TOPdesk vision. Basically, what we want to enable you, we want to make sure that you can deliver the highest quality of services possible. We want to guide you to this service excellence. Well, how we see this, we have a really nice mission statement here. We want to guide organizations towards this service excellence by getting people engaged and empowering them to work better together. So we're focusing a lot of our efforts on making sure the quality of your services can go up, but also, and we do this by making the collaboration possibilities within the tool with anyone who is involved in delivering these services better. Well, how we work at product management, we have a vision, so where we want to be. I just presented it to you. If you want to see more about this vision, you can visit our public roadmap. The link will come afterwards. You can read more in depth what we want to be, what we're aiming to do. To make this a bit more tangible for ourselves, we have divided this into several themes. So a theme is, for example, collaboration, which I've already mentioned to you, or agile, which we also believe can really help you improve the quality of services that you're providing, or implementation out of the box to make sure that you can easily start with the tool, implement it yourself without having to wait for a consultant. So these are kind of the subgroups that we base our projects on. And then, of course, we have our projects. And today we are going to focus on these projects, what we have been doing. All of this can be found on our roadmap. These are the features that we will talk to you about today. Well, asset management, public knowledge items, chat, share and subscribe, the collaboration platform, artificial intelligence, workflows, and mobile. So I hope there's something here that piques your interest. And well, let's dive into it. Tom is going to start.
Yeah, that's my cue. Welcome as well. I'm first going to talk to you about asset management, more specifically about imports for persons from Azure AD, but also into asset management. What we built is basically a customer-facing import wizard for assets and Azure AD to improve self-reliance. So hopefully new customers can set up their own imports, but also as an existing customer, you can adjust your own imports without needing TOPdesk. So previously, it also wasn't possible in the standard software to connect to Azure AD, so that's also something that has been added. So to give you a quick demo of how the feature looks like, this is the import overview. I can simply choose an asset template I want to import into. So in this case, I'm working on fleet management. I want to import some cars. Note that on the top right, I can select to download an Excel template. In the template, which I'll open in a second, you'll see the fields that I configured in my asset management. I can simply add the cars here. See, I added about 16 cars. I can fill in all the data I have, the brand, the license plate, purchase date if I know it. I can set it all up right here. If I then upload the file, which goes very quickly here, I can optionally set up some filter rules. So for example, I only want to import cars from a certain brand, or well, whatever filters may apply. When I have done that, in the next step, I can set up the field mapping. So between the source file, Excel in this case, and the target, well, most fields are automatically mapped if TOPdesk can recognize a name for you, but you can adjust everything manually. So what you see here is that I'm also setting a default value for the purchase date. Not all the values were filled in my Excel file. So I can fully customize how I want it to be when it's imported. Well, then there are some settings to define the unique key or setting it up scheduled. I'm not going to go into that now. But finally, before you execute it, you're going to see a preview. So I can already see here that 2 of the car brands I use don't exist. So my import is going to fail for these records. Well, if I actually execute the import, I get a similar overview on the bottom of what else went wrong. You also see one of our newer features still being tested. But these overviews are stored, so you can always look at it in hindsight. What kind of imports did you do? Yeah, as a promise, also you can do this for Azure AD. I'm not going to fully show it, but simply indicate that you want to import persons, so all the end users of your organization or employees. And then there you have the option to select the Azure source. All instructions are on screen, so you can follow them yourself. Again, to hopefully be self-reliant. The sources you're not seeing here yet is MS SQL. If you're an on-premises customer, we're planning to allow you to import from MS SQL directly, but that's still being made. So this version is already available on SaaS. I hope to have this still on premises this quarter, otherwise it's going to be early Q3. And there's a blog available with more information about importing. Well, as Esther mentioned, you're going to get an overview with all these blogs and all the links after the webinar tomorrow, I think. So you don't have to remember all the links. So from assets and persons, well, where we already support Azure AD, we're still aiming to support local Active Directory. So again, to improve the self-reliance, we want to add this in this customer-facing import wizard. So where previously you always needed a TOPdesk consultant for this AD import, you're going to be able to do that yourself. And hopefully that's still available on SaaS this quarter. Continuing with asset management, well, what we don't have yet is some kind of events and actions functionality for the ones that know the rest of TOPdesk. What we're building now is the opportunity to manually trigger a series of HTTP requests. So that allows you to trigger integrations, or well, we also see this as a first step towards emailing. I'll show that in a minute. Just for first, this one goes a bit fast, but from the asset designer, I can go to the action overview, and there I can fully set up an action. Well, you might see that this is very similar to the action sequences interface. It's actually a clone that's going to be reskinned in the near future, as we'll see in a minute. In this case, I just imported an action sequence I already set up before. I indicated, well, I give it a name, I activate it. But what's kind of cool, on the left, I can indicate for which templates it's available. So where in the previous module, you had to do a lot of duplication of your actions for every place you wanted to have it active. Right now, you can just enable it for multiple places. Small quality of life things, but nice to have. So to show how to trigger it, from the asset overview, I'll open one of these servers where I added the action. And on the top right, you can see there's a new menu called Trigger Action. So there I choose the report malfunction. It takes a while to execute on the background. And if I refresh the card, I see in the history widget that actually a new call has been created. So that's how I set it up. It's of course, however I want to set up these API calls, it will do just that. But well, as you can see, the incident has indeed been created with the correct asset link. Again, this is already available on SaaS since a week or something. and hopefully still this quarter on premises and otherwise early Q3. This was only the technical part, HTTP requests, but the next step is actually emailing. And aside from manual triggers, we also want to do this automatically. So for example, when a license expires, you'd like to know beforehand, you don't want to get to the office that your office doesn't work anymore. So to signal users when something is up with their assets, we're working on this. What you're going to see are some sketches, so that's not necessarily how it will be actually implemented. As you can see, I can first indicate a when. So when should something happen? In this situation, I'm choosing to do something 5 days before the warranty expires. So I'd like to get an email about that. I can indicate on which asset templates that's relevant. So both cars, coffee machines, computers, they all have a warranty date. But in this case, I only want to know it when a computer reaches its warranty date. And if I set up the when, I can continue to the what. And in this case, well, I'm going to set up an email. I could also create an incident, generate a document. That's all coming in the future. An editor for the email, not necessarily how we're going to implement it, but it gives you some idea how it will look like. That's already currently being worked on. So again, we hope to have this available this quarter on SaaS still. Pretty happy with that. And this is definitely not going to be on premises this quarter, but hopefully next one. Well, last one about asset management. We implemented permissions per asset type. You can now configure read, write, delete, etc. permissions per asset type. So where you previously did, either you had read permissions on all assets or you didn't, you can now further refine that. So when you're working with different departments, different operator groups, you can now actually indicate who can see whose other assets. A quick demo. In the asset overview on the bottom left, you see you can only see the auto template. If I go to the managing of the permission group, I can see, well, my operator is actually in this permission group. That's me, Tom Knippenberg. And on the general tab on the bottom, I can indicate that I want to be able to see more asset templates. So where for the auto, I checked all the boxes. I'll give some asset templates only read-only access. And if I now go back to the overview, I see they are actually shown on the bottom, which is what I'd expect. And I'll also open one to show that it's actually read-only. So pretty straightforward, I guess. It's available on SaaS already. It's a part of the Q1 release, which is due any moment now. There's also a blog available about this, so you can check that at your own time if you want. Esther already gave away the features I'm going to show, but I'm still excited about it. Public knowledge items. Traditionally in TOPdesk, you can publish knowledge items to your operators or in the self-service portal to your end users. But with this project, you can also publish it to users you don't know, so on the big scary internet. So we hope this is enabling a shift left to end users in general. So let's say you're a municipality, you can offer some knowledge to your citizens, so they're hopefully not going to call you if they can find the answer themselves. So this is one of the projects we're doing to open up TOPdesk more. For the ones that are familiar with how the knowledge base works, on the right, we now added a tiny checkbox that you can actually publish it in a web interface, so it's publicly available. And in the URL section, you'll find there's it's very tiny here, but you'll find that there's an additional URL added. If I'd open that up in my browser, it does exactly what you'd expect. It shows you on a white background the knowledge item, images, rich text, it's all included as you'd expect. And although, a white page might already be nice, of course, you could also integrate this on your website. So this is our own corporate website with an iframe. Well, as I showed here, I embedded this knowledge item. It's pretty straightforward, easy to do, and hopefully you can help your end users with that. So right now, this is available in labs on SaaS. That means it's for enterprise customers only. And I think late this quarter, maybe next quarter, we're going to remove it out of labs so it's available for everyone. And we're also going to bring this to on-premise customers. And again, one of my colleagues wrote a blog about it with more details. And then the final one for me before I give it back to you. It's a TOPdesk chat module. We built a new TOPdesk module offering a native chat experience in TOPdesk. Well, what does native chat mean in this sense? You don't need a partner for it. It's just a TOPdesk module. So we hope to enable customers to be reachable through multiple channels, anywhere, anytime, basically. So in the self-service portal, you see, I navigated to a page, and there I can simply type my message, and it will directly end up at an operator's desk. I don't know which operator, they can decide that themselves. So on the operator section, on the top right, I see there's a notification bubble. There's also audio notifications. And then I can choose to pick up this chat. I can first see it. This is something I can do, then pick it up. On the right in the screen, you can see some details about the end user. Also, what page is he coming from the self-service portal, or maybe you showed the chat on another website. You'll see that right away. And you can reply to the end user. Well, I can demo this all day long, going back and forward. But let's say at some point as an operator, you're done with the incident. It's a matter of closing the chat on the top. And for reporting purposes, you might also want to create a call from it. So as I'll do here, in the call that I created, you see the transcript is part of the request field. I can categorize it and report on this later on. Yeah, so pretty cool. It's available again in labs on SaaS and on premises, maybe this quarter, but probably the next one. What's important to know, this is all the other features are part of other modules you might already have. Chat module is really a separate module. So right now there's still the free trial going on, so check it out if you're on SaaS. And if you want to know more details, there's a website about it, page.topdesk.com/chat. And then the last part about chat. What we're still building is operator groups. So you directly want your chats to end up at the correct operators, basically. So enable the routing of that to save some time there. And again, this is being worked on already, so it's going to be on SaaS, available pretty soon. That's your turn.
Thank you. I will just jump right into the next feature, the basic collaboration platform. Like I already said in the beginning, we believe that key to service excellence is collaboration. We've already worked on shared service management for many, many years. So to bring multiple departments closer with the collaboration platform, we now also want to connect multiple service management applications to truly enable you to achieve service excellence over the full service chain. So anyone who is involved in providing a service, so your suppliers, your partners, you should be able to collaborate with them seamlessly. For that, we are creating a collaboration platform, and we're first creating like a basic version to get this technically set up. And I will demo that to you right now. So I will first show you the message sharing possibilities. And I'm going to do that by walking you through a scenario of Denton County. They have a really nice office, but the printer tends to smoke quite a bit. So in this case, there's smoke coming from the printer. So one of the employees decides to log a call for this. What is the case? Because these printers are smoking quite often, they have a supplier to take care of their printers. So what you see is the call from Mr. Adam about the printer that's smoking again. And we've added a checkbox, send to third party, that operator can select. They can select their supplier, Perfect Printers, and basically send a message to them, type the message that they would like to share with them. So in this case, the printer is smoking again. Can you come and take a look? Of course, after saving that, there are indicators that this is sending or that it has been received, like you see in WhatsApp with the checks, so that you know the message is now safely arrived at my supplier. Well, what does it mean, safely arrived at your supplier? Basically, it means there's a call created in the top desk of the supplier. This call is now created from the operator of Denton County Council. And the only thing that's currently being shared is the message that has explicitly been typed and sent to the third party. So you still need to fill in some details on the left side. We are working on making this, making more information being filled in on the left side, but in the first iteration, basically what you can do is receive this message and send the message back, in this case saying, well, sure, we will drop by tomorrow, again, of course, knowing that it has been safely arrived. And from this point on, these two calls are linked. So anytime they are updated and they have an update for each other, they will update these calls, so you don't have problems with new calls being created. So here you will see that while they type the message back, that of course the original call is updated with the message via the collaboration platform from the supplier saying, sure, we will drop by tomorrow. This is the first iteration of the sharing flow. A lot of this is already possible with integrations that you can build via the APIs with action sequences. But what is a bigger difference here is the setting up part, because we focused a lot of our efforts on making this a lot more simple. So what you do is you have a settings page where you have the collaboration center. You have to fill in some information first time you use it. So how do you want to be seen by others? And then you can manage your connections from that page. And to create a connection, you basically create a unique code. You copy this code. Behind the scenes, you email this code to your supplier or to your customer or to whoever you want to connect with. And on their side, so in this case, the Perfect Printer side, what they do is they say, I want to use this connection code. They fill in the code, copy it, click connect, and the connection between the two organizations is set up. So what that means is that they will now appear in each other's drop-down list and can actually exchange these messages to each other. Well, this is, I was hoping that it would already be available now, but it's going to be available probably in the upcoming month on SaaS. This is a labs feature for now. And the unfortunate thing here is that it's only going to be available for now for customers that have their instance hosted in the NL3 data center. If your environment is hosted in the NL2 data center, we can migrate you. If not, you might have to have some patience or get in touch with me, and we can see what we can arrange there. We're working very hard to enable this for all the data centers and also cross data center. And the same goes for on-premise. Once we've enabled that, we can also offer this on-premise in virtual appliance. Also here, more information can be found on the website. Well, another feature that we're working on to enhance collaboration is share and subscribe. In this case, it's the collaboration between end users. Because in many cases, like we are sitting in a room here, if something would be wrong with this lamp and we would not be able to give a nice bright webinar here, I would log a call about this, but Tom is also bothered by this, so I would want to share this with Tom so we are both updated about this problem. So what this basically is sharing calls with another user from the self-service portal. Well, I can show you this, of course. Here it's a problem with the air conditioning. It's really cold. And I'm thinking about logging this call, but then I realized, but there are more people in this room. Mr. Phillips, also in this room, also has this problem. So I type his name and I select Phillips and I share this with him. So it also appears in his list of calls, registered calls. Of course, you can see that it has been shared with Philips, and I can also share it with more colleagues if I afterwards think, oh, wait, there's also someone else in this room. I can, of course, share it with others. Well, this is already available on SaaS in labs as well. It is not yet known when we will bring this to on-premise, but probably somewhere later this year. And then you can find more information on in a blog post. And next to enabling this from the SSP, we also want to enable this from the operator side, because sometimes operators know, but this is not only going to bother this end user, it's probably going to bother more of them. Let's proactively already share it with them so they are aware that this has been logged. So you can see here, there's a share with others link added, which you can click. And well, again, this is Mr. Phillips who is bothered by it. I think he's everywhere. And also the operator can now decide to share it with him. So Mr. Phillips also is in the loop next to the original caller. And well, it says coming up, but it might actually already be available in lab. So it's coming up really fast if it's not already there. So this was the share and subscribe feature. Now I also want to dive into artificial intelligence. This is a little different from the other features that I'm going to describe, because this is more a lot of research and experimental work that we've been doing at TOPdesk. But well, there's one feature now delivered, and I wanted to share with you what we are doing in this area. Because we believe that artificial intelligence is not just a trendy buzzword, but it's really a tool that can help you improve your service, the quality of your services that you're offering. You don't want operators or end users to do boring manual work all the time, work that can be easily automated. You also want to make use of the possibilities in AI to give predictions, so to predict that a problem will probably occur, or to spot opportunities. And we think this in the future is something we cannot, everyone, it will be everywhere. It is already in many places, and that's why we also experiment with it and work with it. Well, one feature that we have already delivered is smart categorization, which is basically machine learning for category suggestions. Because categories, you have to select them. Sometimes you have to go to a big list to find out the right category. Well, actually, with machine learning, we can very easily already make predictions. I can show you that. So the category is not filled in, and I'm typing a message here about the coffee machine that's broken. Well, with AI, we can already predict, it's probably the category coffee machine. Or when I change it to printer, it's probably the category printer. So we already give the operator the choice to easily select the category that it applies to. This is available as SaaS in labs as well. It is not yet known when we will bring it to on-premise, but we're looking into that. So please try it out if you're interested. Something we are working on right now is automatic knowledge translations via AI. We are not building this completely ourselves. There are a lot of smart AI solutions out there to translate texts. We are looking for the integration of these AI tools within TOPdesk to save you time and costs by automating this whole translation process. So you don't have to do this manually or hire someone to do it. TOPdesk with the AI can do it for you. And we are aiming to bring this to SaaS in Q3 this year. Of course, I already mentioned the predictive capacities that AI has. AI can really make clear links between information and predict when bottlenecks will appear or when opportunities arise. So with predictive analysis, we want to see if we can predict resolve times or response times. This can help operators in a way that they can already predict this type of call. It's probably going to take a bit longer. Normally it takes longer, so you might want to take a look at it sooner. But it could also be on the end user side when logging a new call, already giving information like, you can probably expect that this will be done in like 3 hours based on the information that you filled in. Well, this is still in a more explorative phase, so we're really looking into what factors have an influence on this. So, of course, if you have any ideas for this, please let us know. But we're aiming to release something in this area at the end of this year on SaaS. And that was my part, and I'm going to give it back to Tom.
Thanks. Yeah, I have another big topic to talk about, which is tasks and workflows. You might have already heard about it. It's one of the larger projects at TOPdesk. And we're currently doing a lot on concept reduction. So if you're an active user of TOPdesk, you might know that we have incidents, changes, operational activities, and all sorts of subcards below that. Well, there are also some sort of what you have to do. It's basically all a task. So we're trying to get that together into one concept. So to make it consistent and easier to work with. So as a first step towards it, we built checklists and second line incidents. So it's a way to template your subtasks so you can collaborate easier, but you also have some consistency about incident resolution. So as you can see in this second line incident on the left side, I can simply add new tasks, and it's auto saved in this case. I can add how many I want, of course. I can assign them to specific operators. So maybe it's a department like IT services, or maybe actually a specific operator. And those operators can work with it whenever they want. If they click on the checkbox, as you'll see now, they can choose what status to close that task with, and it's simply saved again. Rather straightforward, but an easy way to work, I guess. Aside from always making new ones, you might also want to apply an existing one. So let's say I create a new call, which is about a laptop. well, I see the categories are automatically filled in. I can simply look up an existing template. So I choose apply template, choose something about the laptop, and then, well, as you'd expect, the checklist items actually show up to work with. So this is already available on SaaS, currently in labs. We're not sure when this is coming to on-premises, so it's safe to say end of the year, basically. There's a blog to read a lot more about this because it's a huge topic. To show you a little bit more, it's about actually managing these templates. So well, someone has to make them, and you want to do some quality control, maybe get rid of some. So that's what we built for you as well. So I can, from an instant, I can simply save a template. So then it can easily be reused later. It depends on a separate permission, I guess. Or if I already have a batch from the instant card, I can go to the Manage Templates overview. So here I see an easy list of the templates I have. I'll just pick one, and then you get to the graphical part. So this is the part I like. You can drag and drop. You can add new ones, give names. At a later point, I'd also expect to set up sequentiality here, maybe authorization moments or email triggers even. Well, we're not sure where it's leading exactly, but this is the page where you can manage it. Obviously, I can delete them and open others, but you'll trust me on that. Also, this checklist template manager is already available on SaaS, so we're aiming again for the end of the year. And we're doing quite a lot more. One of the things is about sequential workflows, so tasks depending on each other. You first have to have an AD account before you can actually do the next step. And this is basically a small step towards changes already. So doing a bit more complexity with call management, which is often the core at the service desk. Yeah, it's being worked on right now, and hopefully next quarter on SaaS, and it will follow on premises later. What I didn't show here, no, I think I forgot what I wanted to say. Moving forward from here, we're also working on a mobile experience. So we're building a progressive web app based on a new task system. So basically enabling working on your to-do anywhere and anytime. So that implies offline capabilities as well. Finally, great. It's going to work on the new tasks, but we're also going to make sure it supports the instant card. And what I think is important to stress is what is a progressive web app? Well, it's different from an app you'd find in the iOS or Play Store. It's a lot easier to get for end users. So it's simply opening the self-service portal or the operator section in this case, saying add this to my home screen and you can use it. Easy with authentication, you can use some of the functionality of your phone, so pretty straightforward to use. Yeah, I only have a very tiny sneak peek of what we actually have. This is well, an overview of things you have to do. You can open it, see some of the conversation you had there, and well, it's a very limited demo. What's not shown here is the filter capabilities, the fact of uploading an attachment, that emails are triggered, but it's that's going to work as you'd expect. And we hope to have this on SaaS. Well, early Q3, half of Q3. It's pretty promising already. So those were the features we actually wanted to demo you. As I mentioned in the beginning, we'll email you an overview tomorrow. So there's a lengthy blog. You can watch this recording. You can see all the blogs we refer to, the roadmap items, everything's there. And I'll also mention a few things that we have been building. One of the things is Kanban board enhancements. So there's filtering capabilities already. We're looking into change activities on the Kanban board as well. Pretty cool. Asset management organizational filters. So the branch filter functionality that you might still be missing. And the virtual appliance, we dropped it a few times, but the new way of installing TOPdesk to really benefit our new service architecture. Well, there's a lot there with videos how it works. If you're using the OData feed, which is basically a reporting API to get your data real-time out of TOPdesk, then you're going to notice a significant performance improvement, which makes both on-premises and SaaS customers happy, I guess, and our SaaS department. Then there's work done on response time agreements and reporting. So you can actually set up per service level agreement what's an okay agreement on response times. In the call, you'll see before what time you should respond, and afterwards you can report on it, which is useful as well to show to your customers. Also for service level agreements, there's work instructions. So let's say you have a very specific agreement with a customer, it will simply pop up if you select the correct SLA. Your operator directly knows what to do, and this way you'll never forget the one agreement. That's very important. And finally, the asset audit. Well, here at TOPdesk, we keep moving stuff every now and then, and it's important to keep your CMDB up to date. The asset audit allows you to do that with barcode scanning. So simply scan the room, scan the assets in the room, and import that into TOPdesk. And that's pretty cool. You'll find more information online about this. If you don't have enough details with this still, well, there's a TOPdesk.com update blog. There's a monthly newsletter you could subscribe for, and of course, there's a roadmap where you can find all the details. It's a public Trello board, so you can comment, give us feedback. That's really appreciated. And of course, if we've already released it, you'll find it on release notes at TOPdesk.com, where you can filter for your modules or for SaaS or whatever you like. I think we got to the end, so I'd like to thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Yeah, my colleague is gonna pass us on the questions later on. We'll send you an email tomorrow, and maybe we'll see you another time. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.